Okay, my name is Marty Havoc. I'm originally from Los Angeles, California. I'm 45 years old as of Friday coming up. I've been doing music since I was 17 years old. I served in the military for 6 years. I've rocked and rolled with the big celebrity stars. I'm actually an old Hollywood ghost, following the shadows of Nikki Sixx, Blackie Lawless, and all them Hollywood fools. I currently own an entertainment company called MHI Entertainment Group. I do a lot of talent development with a lot of local bands, up and coming bands, and I'm also a bass player for several projects that I have right now, including the Tragedy Club, which is a pop rock, power pop band, and also a metal band called Bone Crusher. I used to be in a group called Sangrones. I formed Sangrones in 2003. We did a couple music videos. We had number one, two, and three top hits in South America. We were actually number two, right behind the Cumbia Kings on one of our songs in South America. Unfortunately, that music project didn't dissolve. It dissolved. It didn't turn into anything. So I went ahead and started some other projects. I think growing up, when I grew up with no dad. So instead of going into gangs and into drugs, my outlet was music. My mom, I remember her playing the Spanish station, and I remember hearing music, Mexican music playing. So I was in mariachi growing up in school. Even in high school, I was in the Spanish bands. But it wasn't until my early teens, when I was about 14, 15 years old, I heard the Beatles, Kiss, Van Halen. I really got into music, and I learned how to play my instrument really well. So that's one of the things I tell people. You know, a lot of people, up and coming bands, want to become instant rock stars. I tell them, fall in love with your instrument, learn your instrument, and then everything will fall into place. I'm not religious. I was raised religiously through my mom, but when I was old enough to decide on my own choices and my own path, I realized that my own personal beliefs. You know, I do believe there's God, but I'm not really a religious person, so I'll just leave it at that. It's all original music. I do write it. Actually an artist first, and I do a lot of poetry. Um, I have tried doing cover songs just for fun, but you know it's not my thing. You know, that I let other bands do that. But I do write a lot of poetry, which in some of cases I do turn them into lyrics. Well, it just depends on what project I'm doing, you know. Me personally, I love all kinds of music. I'm not really into rap a whole lot, but I love country music, believe it or not. I like Mexican music. I do enjoy the heavy metal, the rock, the pop. There's some new groups out there that are up and coming that I enjoy listening to. So there's no one specific genre of music that I don't listen to. No, I'm not, but I do have my own record label called MHI Entertainment Group, and what I do is I just sign singles. Believe it or not, I just work with bands that have singles that I think they have potential, and then I work with that and possibly distribute them through different distribution companies. I haven't been on tour since 19. Well, actually, let me back up. 2004, I believe, was the last time I went on tour with Sangrones. I've worked with a lot of major bands, including Motley Crue, Motorhead. I performed with Motorhead many times. Prong, Warrant, and a bunch of other groups too. He's a nice guy. Uh, it's all show in front of the camera, but behind the camera, it's a different story. You get older and you become mature, and your body starts to slow down a bit. So and it's the same with me. You know, I used to be Mr. Wild Man, going out there and doing everything I could within the 24-hour period. But yeah, a lot of the rock bands are just normal family people, believe it or not. The music industry now, I'm not too familiar with it because I'm like I said, I'm an indie person. Back in the '80s or late '70s, you know, it was an actual business where people made money from music, and and now it's cutthroat. Now it's there's a gazillion bands out there, a lot of music, some good, some bad. So I actually don't have an opinion because I'm not too familiar with it. I guess it would be that when there's a good band out there, they use them as much as possible. They squeeze out all the juice they can, and then they throw them out, and then they're on their own again, which is unfortunate. Labels back then had contracts, and they supported you for the most part, and worked with you, and were really glad to get you out there. I mean, that's how a lot of these bands became known. Now it's a cookie cutter kind of thing. There's a lot of press and throw them in the oven and then throw them back out. And see what happens. It's kind of like roll of the dice, so to speak. Creatively, as an artist, yeah, I think there's always going to be good artists out there. The business is not too good. I see the internet taking over now. I see my son, as a matter of fact, came over yesterday and was buying all kinds of songs from iTunes, and I'm like, oh my goodness, you don't have to buy an album no more. You just buy single songs, which could be good for the artist. But somebody out there is getting rich and fat, so and it's definitely not me. I started listening to the Beatles, and then I heard Van Halen, and then I heard Motley Crue and Kiss, and I made it a goal of mine to meet them, and so that's how I ended up in the music business and the different side of aspect of it. Not only as a musician, but also as a promoter and a manager and a graphic artist. I try to learn every aspect of the music industry. I have considered it, believe it or not. I'm a sucker for photographs. So I've when I was in my younger days, I was an extra in a movie called Stir Crazy with Gene Wilder and Richard Pryor. That was years ago. That was when I was a kid. For the younger guys that are starting out, do it with heart. It's not all about trying to get an easy buck, trying to be famous. You got to love your instrument. You got to love what you do. And if one band doesn't work, start a new project. Do another band. Don't give up. Don't give up. Just keep doing it. Do it from the heart. Don't do it because of somebody else is telling you, oh, this is what's going to happen. It doesn't happen to everybody. For the other veterans, I guess they know, how I feel. They've been in my shoes. Some people continue doing it, and other folks, just kind of hang it up. But whatever works for them, I guess, just as long as they're true to themselves.